At Growth Vue, we talk a lot about making impact through our investing. At the end of the day, putting together multifamily syndicated deals is not that complex. You raise the money, you find the deal, you find the debt, and you put the deal together. And yes, making money is an incredibly important part of what we're doing here. But the reality of it is we're all chasing time. And I ask investors all the time, if I gave you back your time and I gave you back your money, what would you do alternatively? And they tell me incredible stories about their charities, about incredible products that they want to create, and things and missions that they're incredibly passionate about. And that's the story that we want to share. That's the stuff that really gets us excited, because your vibe attracts your tribe. And we want more people who want to make more impact through their investing, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. We have this one incredible life to live. And so we're taking this series and we're pulling back the Iron Curtain, and we're talking with our investors and sharing their stories so that we can find more people who want to join our tribe. Hey, welcome back to episode number 2 of the Investor Series, and today we're speaking with Brandi Floyd. Brandi is a career business development specialist, a corporate recruiter, and she's also a career coach. And we're going to share a little bit more about her background and why she invests, one of the specific reasons, which is to make more impact through her charity, Human Collective, where she's leveraging her business development skills to go out and teach other organizations how to scale up and how to do it consistently. Brandi, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So right now you're sitting in Asheville somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are you at right now?
We're in the middle of nowhere. The Human Collective, we all chipped in and we've rented an Airbnb so that we can invest our entire day tomorrow working on a new initiative, going out and shaking hands and meeting new people in Asheville, handing out some socks and some masks.
Yeah, awesome. And we'll get into that. We'll share a lot more about what's going on with the Human Collective, because that's my favorite part of this whole podcast right now. But yeah. Why don't you tell everybody like who you are and what you do when you're not handing out socks?
And masks, because masks. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I am a VP of business development for a national mortgage lender. Right now, my primary responsibility is hiring everybody from the janitors to C-suites, just to make sure that we're hiring the best people for growth. Novus is technically still a startup company, so I came over to build something. I like to build things and fix things. It's what I really, really love to do, and so that's what intrigued me to be a part of Novus. And so, I'm just kind of grinding it out and making sure that we're hiring the best people to build a brand and move forward. And that's, 103% of my day. And then I work on some career coaching and resume writing on the side. That's another 15-ish% of my day. And then somewhere in there, I get a little bit of sleep and do a little bit of reading and a little bit of running. And that's about it. That's it.
Yeah. And you got some kiddos too, right?
Just one.
Okay.
Yep.
Kiddo.
I've got a 14-year-old boy. He's huge into wrestling. He's amazing at it. And hopefully that means I don't have to pay for college one day.
That was my track to college, was make sure I get put on scholarship. That's
yeah.
Mom and Dad were happy about that one.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes, I spent a lot of time in a high growth technology company, scaling at a clip of like 150 people per year. And you're in, of all things, the mortgage industry, trying to recruit people to grow that company. Obviously, mortgage lenders, it's incredibly competitive with rates as low as they are. Mm-hmm. I mean, even given COVID, my wife's a residential broker. It hasn't slowed down for her. She's been having an incredible year.
This is the busiest I've ever been. Ever.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for almost 10 years in this industry specifically, and it's the busiest I've ever been.
How do you compete with those other lenders? Like, there's a lot of great shops where you can go and hang your license and be a broker,
Well, the reason that there are so many different places is because different things matter to different people, right? And so I don't really look at as a competition. If you've got 4 gyms on the same street, you don't want them to pick a gym because of something that you're competing against. You just want it to be the best gym for them, right? So maybe it's because of the kind of equipment you have, or the kind of classes that you offer, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so, for me, when I'm out recruiting people, it's, can I fix what's broken for you, or can I not? And if I can't, I just tell them, because we're not a good fit for everybody, but that's okay.
Yeah, how do you recruit in that industry? Is it a lot of like digital advertising? Are you going out and finding those people and like proactively reaching out to them? What does that look like?
It's a lot. It's more headhunting, I think.
Okay.
When people think recruiting, I think they probably think more like resume sifting, Indeed, and stuff like that, which is not even remotely close to what I do. It's, uh, tracking down the best talent, whether it be in sales or operations or whatever, and then just saying, hey, do you want to have a conversation with me? And if you don't, that's okay. I don't, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me no, but if you do, then let's talk about all the things,
Yeah.
and if you've got goals you're trying to reach and you're not on the trajectory to get there, then I want to help.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
that's it. That's the only avenue that I ever take.
Yeah. Well, you're a lot like me, where you just always got to be doing things and working on stuff, and you love to build things. How did you
Yes.
get to where you're at today? Like, where'd you grow up, and how'd you end up in the mortgage industry in the first place?
Well, I mean, when I moved home from school, I went to college in Greensboro, which is not far from Hickory. And so when I moved back home, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be a teacher, and then I did that for like a minute, and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work for me.
Like what kind of teaching?
I want to be an elementary school teacher.
Oh man, God bless those
'Cause I
people. I couldn't do it.
do love kids, but the all day, every day, it just was like, okay, no, it was a no, and that's okay. So, I got a really, I got a foot in a door through a friend at a wholesale security company. And I went from being an executive assistant to, in like an inside sales coordinator within like just a couple months. And, the guy that was over the sales department, was just a great mentor for me. And he really helped me kind of figure out like how just picking up the phone and making the call, right?
Yeah,
Like getting
love it.
over that, like, oh, what if somebody says no,
Right.
like, and so I started doing trade shows, and, just got to, put my hands on a lot of different side of the sales part of it. And it was wholesale. So it was just a little bit different than like, you know, direct, like, consumer sales or whatever. But,
Right.
through all that, I just kind of started really realizing that I love the building the relationship part of it, and not really selling anything, but people calling me because they liked me,
Yeah.
and they liked, they trusted me. And so that in turn creates better sales,
Yep.
always doing what you're saying you're going to do, following up, following through, and just being a good person. It's amazing, right? Like what that can do for you in the sales world. Um, so actually through all of that, um, I ran into a lady through church actually, and she was like, "Well, we really need like a coordinator, in our office." And it was a little bit of a pay bump for me, and so I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a go."
Yeah.
Why not?
Good.
You know?
Good decision.
Yeah. Uh, I got to work on an assignment because they were busy and overwhelmed, and ended up making my first placement within like 3 weeks of just a little bit of grind work. And you've worked in recruiting, so
Yeah.
like the turnaround time for anything, like 3 weeks is
90 days is like the industry average to hire
yeah, yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
So 3 weeks is
And
impressive.
so I was like, so I got that first taste of like,
Victory.
I did it,
Yeah.
and I was done. I was done after that. I was like, hire you a new coordinator. I don't want to do this anymore. Put me on the phone. I'm ready to recruit.
Yeah.
And I've done it ever since. And I've thought about trying other industries, but I can't. It's one of those things you just can't get out of it once you're in it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to be in the recruiting industry, you're like a people person, and you really got to
Yeah.
know how people think and understand what's important to them so that you can really help them decide. And sometimes you're telling them it's not a good fit, whether or not this is the right place for you, the right industry for you, because at the end of the day, it's got to be a win-win for everybody. And I think that that's probably, you have a heart for people, which is a big part of why you kind of started this new initiative, which is the Human Collective, which is where you're at
Yeah.
Nashville right now, and you're getting ready to kind of soft launch this whole entire initiative.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite part of this whole story. We got talking about investing in multifamily, and then you shared some more about the Human Collective and what you guys were working on over there. And that's why we're actually sitting here today to have this conversation. So why
Yeah.
don't you tell everybody a little bit more about, what that's all about, why you started it, and what you're hoping will come from that.
Wow. So, a friend of mine, Noelle Marks, does a lot of other nonprofit work. She lives in Florida. Um, and just kind of through her other work efforts, she realized that there was a need around smaller organizations that want to do more. They just don't have all the tools necessarily.
Right.
And not even from just other nonprofit things that are like, set up or whatever, but even things like your local church that they host a canned food drive once a year, and people participate and they can do so much, right? So it's like, but what if you did that 4 times a year?
Right.
Or what if you added jackets? Or like, there's so much more that people can do. And I think that more people want to help in different areas, and they just don't know how, and they don't know where to go. So the idea around it is for us to come in any geographic location that we're working one area at a time, but that the main idea is for us to go in and find these things that are kind of already in place and figure out the best way to help them and set them up for more long-term success, whether that be reaching out to the community that's already there and saying, did you know that this place is here and that they need help?
Right.
Right. Or did you know that, if you donated 1 hour a week, that you could help this many people? Because people think that, oh, just if I just do that once a week, like it's not going to make a big deal. Or there's just all this information that people don't have. And I feel like we feel like if we can just spread knowledge around what's going on and what could be done, that there would be a lot more change happening. And so that's really the whole concept behind it. And then in addition to that, we all have things that are just very special to our hearts individually. Like for me, it's homelessness. I was very, very close to that at a place in my life when I was in college. And so there's so that's something that's very special to me. Noelle has a very strong heart around human trafficking. Josh has some stuff around poverty, just working where he's worked with benefits and people having uh, medical bills these days are
Yeah.
ruining
Yeah.
people's lives,
They're putting
right?
people into poverty, right?
Right. So we've all got these other small little things that we're like, okay, well, we're going to go out and we're going to do what we're setting out to do, but we're also going to, we're going to do these other small little things where we're filling these other small holes,
Yep.
that we feel like we want to. Like this weekend, we're doing the socks and the mask and stuff, and as we continue to raise money to go out and do more, then we'll focus on what somebody else is really driven to want to go do when we're in places that need some help.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I think what a lot of these smaller organizations need is somebody with a business mind to come in and help them organize,
Right.
like collectively. Oh, funny. Human collective, right? It's just
Right. Yeah.
organizational leadership and structure. And a lot of times people get into nonprofit type work, and it's just because they have a big heart for helping people, but they don't have the business acumen to really take that and scale it up into something. So they do
Yeah,
they treat it a lot as an event instead of something that should be happening all the time. Like you said,
exactly. And we
my church
each
is
have different strengths. Like I have no problem picking up the phone and asking somebody to come help or give me money or
right.
whatever, right? Like I'm not a shy person. I'll ask if it needs to be done, I'm going to ask somebody to do it,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Noelle is fantastic at organizing, and really making sure that that nothing falls through the cracks. And then Whitney is like a marketing guru, and she's got this vision for like making things pretty. And so everybody has a different strength, and that's why we've all come together to do it, is because we all bring something different to the table to help these things be very long lasting. It's not, we're not coming in and just doing it and calling, like, we're not leaving until we know this is going to be better for the long haul, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, effectively what you just named is what every business ultimately needs, right?
Yeah.
Somebody to be on the sales side, right? Somebody to actually structure it and put it all together so that it works every day, and somebody to create awareness and stuff. And so a lot of times the people that go and start these nonprofits, they don't have the right people in the right seats. And so you come in and kind of lay in the structure, and then they kind of take off and run with it.
Yeah.
You trying to
The
recruit
rest
some
of the
people into
crew's
this
starting
podcast?
to show up.
The crew's here. Tell them to poke their head.
We're being videoed. We're going on. Oh my God, that's
You're going to be live. Well, oh, that's awesome.
Everybody just finally showed up. I was the first one here. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So this is awesome though, because this is what we talk a lot about with Growth Views. We talk about, if I gave you all your time and all your money back, like what would you do with it? And this is one of those things. I think you reach a certain point in your life.
This is my ultimate goal, right? To be able to travel wherever I need to go to work on this stuff. That's the goal. That is the only goal that I have.
Yeah, and the world needs more of that. I think we're at the end of the day, we're all chasing time, and there's something that God put us here to do that we are supposed to go do. And if we were all given back in that way, not only you're more fulfilled, but the world's going to be a heck of a lot better place. That's for sure.
And we can't expect it to just change if we're not willing to put in the work, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. That being said, there is one other thing that you would do. You'd own a flower shop.
I would own. Yeah, I would. I'm obsessed with flowers. I'm obsessed with them. I grow them, pick them, pluck them, put them in vases, put them all over my house. I'm obsessed with them. I don't know why.
Well, if you ever want a good recommendation of somebody who can tell you how to run a florist shop, I know one of the best florist shop owners in the country. He owns 4 of them up here in Northern Colorado.
No way.
Yeah, he started when he was like 26 and got into the business because he saw it as a very like capital efficient type of business where he could step in and buy 2 florist shops from an owner, and he's just continued to grow and crush it. So it's so cool. It's a great business model. Talk about making people feel good, right? Like it's beautiful.
Yeah, I will also offer wine at my flower shop though, because I feel like they go together,
Yeah, you come get flowers and wine. That would actually be a cool concept. Nobody's thought of that.
So if you made your wife mad, you stop and you get a bottle of wine, bouquet of flowers, one-stop shop.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
That's amazing. As you're sitting here kind of looking at your life, going forward, obviously like we got to know each other because you're investing with us, but why do you invest today, and like what do you hope that means for your future?
Well, I mean, I reached out initially because I heard Brad on a podcast and I was like, I went to school with him. This is crazy.
Yeah,
there's no way that's the same Brad Finley that I went to school with. But because I've been wanting to do more and I just didn't know what to do. I've been a little scared, feeling like I wasn't really I didn't trust a lot of other people that had come to me about different things. And because I did know Brad, I feel like I really could trust him. And so when he went into it in detail, I couldn't find any red flags not to do it, and my goal is to be able to travel to do this work.
Right.
And the only way I'm going to do it is if I can figure out a way to make more money without working harder, because I'm already at full capacity, right? I've got a real job, and then I got my son, I have a house, and then I've got the resume thing, the coaching thing, and now we've got the Human Collective, and so I've got to fit in time for me, got to work out, got to sleep. So I had to figure out a way to make enough money to go and really at some point be able to do this all the time. And the time, it was just a timing thing, and I couldn't say no. So
yeah. Well, we talk a lot about, we ask people what their PA ratio is. What's your passive to active income ratio? And it's a thought process that people don't really have. They're generally focused on vertical income. How do I make more, instead of thinking horizontally, and getting multiple sources of income and replacing their current vertical source of income, which at a certain point, you can make a ton of money, but if you're not working, it ain't working, so
that's right.
Instead of saving, it's about deploying more capital to give you more time and money later, ultimately.
And being able to give it away, right? Like, I don't really want it for me. I want it so that I can put it back into doing the things that need to be done.
100%.
So,
You said that in your little pre-bio, you're talking about just the success you've had, just wealth creation, and at this stage in your life at, mid-30s, you're, just looking at your life, thinking more about, how can you give back? It's not about going and getting more. You're good.
I don't need more. I don't want any more. I want to fix things that are broken.
100%. Yeah. Same thing. So that's a perfect segue. What's the kind of legacy that you want to leave behind?
Well, I just want people to, when I'm walking away, I don't want them really to remember me. I just want them to remember how I made them feel, and that I left a little bit of Jesus behind. That's it.
I love that. Yeah. Thinking about how many people are going to show up to your funeral, not necessarily how much money you're going to take with you to the grave.
That's right.
That's awesome. So if people want to get in touch with you and or the Human Collective, how do they do that?
Probably the best way, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not really on any other social media, but LinkedIn's great. And then info at thehumancollective.org is a great email address. And then my personal email is just brandi.floyd@gmail.com.
Okay. Perfect.
I know I got all crazy with it, but
well, we're going to put all those details in the show notes below, so people will be able to contact you. And then we'll be giving you a shout out when we post this as well, so people will easily be able to track back and find the Human Collective as well as you. And if you guys want to support what she's doing, we know we're going to be supporting it through our 501c3 on the back of what we're doing with Growth Vue as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be it's pretty awesome to be able to help your investors and simultaneously give back in the way that we want to give back as well. So
yeah, this is going to be such a cool partnership. And even so, on my LinkedIn and the info part on where I have the Human Collective stuff, there is a link where you can just donate there also.
Okay, shameless plug. I love it. She's always closing. Don't get her within 100 yards, because you will be pulling out your checkbook to write her a check.
That's right.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you a ton, and just looking forward to what we're going to be doing here in the next 20, 30 years together.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Thanks, Brandi.
Have a good weekend.
You too.